All right, babe.
Okay.
Cheers, my love.
Cheers, darling.
Welcome to the podcast. I'm so happy to have you.
I'm stoked.
This is Lisa Holling, and I am so happy to have you on my podcast. When I first had this concept of doing this, I knew you were one of the first guests I had to have on here immediately.
Thank you. That is such an honor.
I always want to have fun, creative, engaging people that have something to really talk about. And ever since the first day I met you, I just was immediately drawn to your energy.
And likewise for me. I mean, we got engaged quickly.
You just have the most amazing zest for life I've ever seen. You always have a smile on your face. You always go through life with such poise and with such a positive outlook. And from the outside, you look like you're AI generated. Like you're you're if somebody typed into ChatGPT.
I just blew up your mic.
please create a gorgeous Swedish perfect
God.
woman, and then this is what it would come up with.
You're so funny and also so sweet. Thank you. Sorry about the microphone.
Well, welcome back to California.
Oh my God, thank you.
You spend, 20% of your time here?
I would say, and it used to be the flipped, the other way around.
Yeah.
So for the past 10 years, I've been splitting my time between Sweden and California.
Yeah.
Because my ex is from San Diego, so it happened naturally. I also went to college in Santa Barbara. So I've always loved California. So when I met my ex, it was definitely I want to, have my base in California. But now it has switched. So now my base is Sweden, but I'm here a lot. I would say 20% is probably accurate at this point.
Well, 20% is just not too long. I really wish you were here the rest of the 80%
Oh my
as
God,
well.
I know.
We always have so much fun together, and so sad you're leaving next week. And I don't want to even think about it.
I know. No, it's the same for me, really. That's kind of one of there's so many, perks with living in two different amazing places on the planet. But the one thing is you're always going to miss the other place. So your heart is always a little bit not that it isn't full, but it's always missing. There's always a part of your heart that feels empty in a way. And that's just been for, living here part-time for a decade, building a strong, family, friends, community, work. Yeah.
And when you're back home in Sweden, it has to be, well, for those that don't know, you have a farm in Sweden. You have lots of land and farm animals and a beautiful estate on a lake. I mean, the pictures just look beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, all the animals kind of either died or were sold. To be honest. But we have a big problem with mink, a mink-looking animal. It's called a marten. And they just keep killing our chickens.
Oh my gosh.
I think we've gone through 30 chickens at this point. I've gotten so good at bury chickens and pick up body parts.
Oh my God.
It's gnarly. I know you wouldn't think that when you see me like this, but no, I'm badass.
I can't picture you shoveling horse shit.
I shovel chicken parts.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, it's gnarly.
So at least when you're in California, it feels like there's less work for you. It's not you're not shoveling chicken shit and manning the grounds.
I mean, honestly, it really is two very different lifestyles, but I'm at the farm a bit, not super much. I'm in Stockholm a lot for work.
More city, you're a city girl.
I am. I'm born and raised Stockholm. I tried the farm thing. I got good at it. I've done things that I thought I would never do. And that's kind of cool when you put yourself in a new context.
Yeah.
Even if it's not ultimately what you want to do, the fact that you try it and you get so much better than you ever could imagine, it still might not be for you, but you got a lot more badass along the way. Yeah. That's kind of me with farm life.
You are badass in every sense of the word, for sure.
Thank you, boo.
What do you prefer? Do you prefer Stockholm or the farm? I mean, the city and the country, the duality.
Yeah, I think the contrast is what really nourishes me. So the big city, even like LA or here, Stockholm, I like having that. I spend a lot of time in London also for work, and I think having that, getting all the impressions, I kind of love the chatter, the diversity in people. Like, I love all of that. Yeah. And then I get to go to the countryside and it's just silent. You know, it's quiet. It's beautiful. It's serene.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what I need. I just don't want farm life full time.
Yeah. Well, gosh, you were showing me pictures of your place there. It just looks beautiful, right on the Baltic Sea.
It's right on the Baltic Sea, and we have
a boat.
we have a boat and a party dock that has an engine that we go out on the water.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And we've like maximum, like we've been like 12 people on there. And I feel like that's with beverages and things. Yeah. I think that's maxing out.
Wow.
But yeah, we bring speakers and like lunch for the day, snacks, and then we're just out full days in the bay.
That's beautiful. I can't wait to come.
Oh my God. Oh, you're going to love it. We're going to
have like the most incredible time. I feel like a lot of people have the misconception on what Midsummer really is after the movie.
Oh, geez.
Because everyone would say like, oh, I'm planning on going to Sweden for Midsummer. And they're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
like,
you're going to get sacrificed.
I think it's actually like a cult situation, but it's not. It's really like it's a cultural holiday.
Yeah. And it can feel culty though, to be honest, because I get this question a lot. They're like, oh, I've seen the movie. And I'm like, here we go again.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's like not all that... like it has elements of truth. It's maybe not orgies, or it can be, but it's usually that doesn't come in the package.
Yeah.
But we do sing songs. Like it feels kind of ritually. Still though.
And everyone does dress in white with the flowers.
Yeah. I think mostly white. Sometimes maybe a little something floral print, whatever.
Almost like Coachella vibes.
Yeah, it is a little bit. So like, I'm not, when I watched the movie, I was like, it's not full. It's not completely wrong. But of course, we don't like shove people down.
Yeah.
Drops like mountain cliffs.
Yeah. I watched the movie too. That was crazy.
It is crazy, yeah. But it is definitely has elements of truth. And in Sweden, I think we have a much stronger culture than what we think. Yeah. And it's almost like you have to get out of Sweden to realize that that's true. Right. So when you're in Sweden, you don't really think that, as a Swede, like we don't really think that we are that particular with our rituals and stuff. Yeah. But as I've been so much in the States at this point, like I have so much culture here now too. Yeah. Then I'm like, oh yeah, Sweden for sure is like, we definitely, I think strong.
For most Americans, I think if anyone thinks Sweden, they think IKEA.
Yeah. IKEA, ABBA, Volvo.
Yeah.
Volvo cars.
Swedish fish.
Swedish fish. I heard that I don't know, that's maybe not appropriate. I'll say it anyway, but you can cut it out. It's like a saying about women. Did you know that it's like, someone told me that recently, someone I was dating, and they were like, oh yeah, it's like, I'm gonna like flex so hard that I got like a Swedish fish. I was like, what the fuck? what are you talking about?
What is it referring to?
It's like a hot Swedish woman.
Oh, so you're a Swedish fish.
That's what I don't know. I think that's but you haven't heard it.
No.
Because you think about the candy, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same. No, well, I guess it's...
I think Swedish meatballs. I think IKEA.
Oh, meatballs.
Swedish fish.
Meatballs. We forgot about that.
Yeah.
Meatballs.
Yeah. I think the
Vikings.
Yeah. Vikings, yeah. Most Americans are pretty uncultured, so they're very minimal.
Yeah. Swedish bikini team was always a thing back. Was that a thing here? Maybe not. The Swedish bikini team.
No.
I feel like that's maybe more from like the 70s or something.
But... Another thing too, when I think of Stockholm, is the saying Stockholm Syndrome.
Oh yeah.
And I actually don't even know like where that even came from. I know what it means, Stockholm Syndrome, meaning like you're, I guess, falling in love with your captor and like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do you know where that saying came from?
It was a bank robber, I believe, that held people hostage. And he was like so fucking charming, like in the back, super psycho.
Oh my gosh.
And he like charmed people, like made them feel like good. Started like, hey, do you need water? Like you look really dehydrated, or like, hey, give me a hug, like you're in distress or whatever. Yeah. We should look this up before you let's make sure that fact check me. But I think
sounds like something that you would actually do. I feel like you would be the one in the bank. You would be getting robbed, flirting with the robber. I could see that totally for you. Especially if he had dreads too.
Oh my God, if he had dreads, yeah, I'm done.
I could totally see that.
Oh my God, dying.
So what is your favorite thing about...
I thought you were going to say, what is my type?
Well, we already know. I know your type very, very well.
Okay, it just felt like that was going to happen. Okay.
I guess I'm going on a hard transition, but I wanted to switch to your career and your business, which is called Mood Board Stories.
Yes.
And do you want to explain what
100%.
What you do?
Yeah. So I'm a creative director. I also am one of the founders, and we're one out of 5 partners. We design, we concept and build out exhibitions and museums, very much like immersive spaces.
Yeah.
So not just like things like traditional, like boring museum, like, you know, like what you would think back in the day. Not like that. It's like multi-sensory elements, texture, you know, touch, feel, interactive, really trying to use like all the senses that we have and tell a story in that way. Our tagline is turning story into experience, which I think is so perfect for what we do. Because if we get approached by, you know, someone that wants us to do something, or if we come up with a concept, we can always look at, okay, is it a cool story? Is it an engaging story? Is it interesting? Does it have something? If the story's there, then we know it's a way of telling it in a really compelling way in an immersive space setting. So that's kind of, that's really what we do. And it's just like, honestly, so often I'm like, how the fuck is this my job? Yeah. Like, I love it so much. And I get to work with music, like the full spectrum of creativity, aesthetics, you know, everything. I get to work with people. I love people.
Well, your biggest exhibition you have is the ABBA one, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
That one looks insane.
Yeah, the ABBA Museum in Stockholm has been voted. We have so many awards at this point. And it was my business partner and also my mom, who I kind of forced into business with me, to be fair. She was the one that initially designed it. And since we started Moodboard and since my mom and I started working together, we've been contributing a lot to what this museum is today. And we're currently working with them on a new, very exciting exhibition for the spring.
Ooh, in Stockholm?
In Stockholm.
Wow.
Yeah.
So will it still be, it's a permanent exhibition?
Yeah, so it's a permanent museum.
Yeah.
And we've also done some smaller like touring things, ABBA related.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And of course, ABBA is like, it doesn't get... We were talking about meatballs and IKEA, Volvo, ABBA. Like, it doesn't get so much more Swedish. So of course, for us, like working with that kind of brand and their legacy is like, first of all, absolute honor. And
do you work with the members from ABBA with this?
Yeah, like closely, especially my mom. So how that happened, my mom used to tour with them. So she got like a little gig to tour the world with a little band. Oh, wow. And I think they were going to tour maybe just Sweden at that point, but then it went Australia and everywhere after they won with their song Waterloo. Okay. The Eurovision contest. Yeah, this is before Dancing Queen. This is how there was like their break. So they won the Eurovision Song Contest with Waterloo. I was defeated, you won the war. Waterloo. I don't know. Well, anyway,
beautiful voice.
Thank you. So out they went on tour. All became really close friends. She's close friends with them. Of course, I grew up with them. I grew up more or less on tour. Wow. So yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that you knew them like very personally, like that growing up. I knew you worked with them professionally.
No, for sure. No, definitely. Yeah, and visited, you know, their different essates in Spain or different places. Yeah.
That's awesome.
For sure. Yeah, it's some of my my mom's closest friends that I've known since I was, you know, baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so what is the process like to start like who comes up with a concept like, hey, I want to open this beautiful art museum, but have it be immersive and you walk in and there's all these different sensory aspects of it. How do you come up with something like that?
That's maybe possibly the most fun part of the job. Because it's like you have a concept or you have something and it's like, yeah, like what you're saying. okay, so we have the story. How are we going to tell it? What colors are the walls going to be? Do we want to build a grotto? Do we want to build an infinity mirror thing with neon lights and laser pointing different directions? Do we want to build a shaking ground with subwoofers on, like colored smoke coming out? You know, there's like, and that's what I love.
The sky's the limit.
Yeah, and that's what really the budget is the limit, but but you're right. It's like, you can do almost anything. And that's what's so exciting about what I do. It's like, there are no right and wrong, really. You have to trust your intuition. You have to trust that what you see, what you picture is going to work. Mm-hmm. It's going to translate. And it doesn't always, but often, really, really often it does. If you believe in it and you're open to tweaking it from, you get feedback and so on. But yeah, it's like a playground, to be fair. It's like a playground. You're like, oh, what if we can do this? It's like you research new technology. Yeah. You see what's available. You see what's on the market. And you go to other, what is that good saying about like in music? Like every song is like has stolen, everything good is stolen or everything good is borrowed. I can't remember what it's called. But essentially like, it's really rare that someone completely reinvents the wheel. Right. Like you take a little bit here, you get inspiration there, but how you orchestrate it together into a new, unique design, I think that's kind of your work.
So what is it like when project's done, it's going live, and ABBA, for instance, like I'm sure they got to experience it and see it before it got,
of course, always
released. What is it like to be finally showing the finished product and their reaction and feeling like it's just
nerve-wracking,
the accomplishment of finally getting it completed?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's also it's nerve-wracking. I remember when we took Tim Avicii's family on the first like full tour. Of course they had seen parts of it, but it's something very different when everything is in place. You've taken press photos, you're opening to like press journalists the next day, and it's like, shit, this is what this X $1 million project became. Yeah. And you're responsible. So you're like, oh, this is good. Yeah. But there's also, with that question, there's such a strong sense of reward to walk around in the space afterwards, observing other people enjoying what you've created. Yeah. That's like one of the most rewarding things I can picture in my field of work. Like seeing how people interact with stuff that you thought up and, made sketches of really early on, and it just like, it worked. And you see them be touched and moved by documentary pieces that you've traveled around and interviewed people and, drove 10 hours in a snowstorm to get to a person. And, you just see like, you see that it makes a difference to people. You see that it matters, and you created something that speaks to people. And that's like, I can't picture anything more rewarding. Yeah.
Well, and I was going to say that sounds like a very rewarding process, but also that it definitely beats having a 9-to-5, and that you get to do something that you're passionate about, and you get to be creative, and you get to be playful, and you get to work with these amazing people. And it sounds like it's such an amazing opportunity that you have.
Yeah. Thank you for the reminder, but it really is. And what I'll say is, of course, anytime anyone chooses a path that is off the beaten path, it's going to also be harder. Yeah. So, there's been so many times, like I would lie straight up, Devin. Like I would lie so hard right now if I said that it hasn't been moments when I've been thinking, you know what? Fuck this. Like this is too much. Like it's so much work before maybe you get to see that reward. It's so much work until you get to see the money from something, because maybe it doesn't even get financed and you worked for a year. Like I did that with a project in Las Vegas last year. I remember I got the call. I fucking folded down on a gravel road. I was out walking by the farm, cried like a baby on the ground. Oh my gosh. I had worked so hard on that thing for a year. And for some reason, someone just decided to pull the plug, and you're just like, you see all the work you put into it. and you crumble, and it's like, oh, should I just take a 9 to 5? Should I just take a freaking 9 to 5 and add like an agency? They'll pay me well because of what I
for sure,
my experience. But then I'm like, damn, if I do, then I'm working for someone else's dream, and then I'm working to create something that someone else like.
Yeah.
And then I have to, whatever weeks off that they will allow, or
Yeah.
Then I'm like, I can't
you're
do
at
that.
Their mercy.
Yeah.
That's true.
So it's, but it
that's why it's nice that I that's why I love about my job, my 9 to 5, basically, or my 11 to 4 or whatever. I get to work remote, which is very nice. And I have that flexibility that I can do something like this and have my creative outlet and still travel and still have fun and play and do all the things.
You have an amazing setup from what I've seen. Like, amazing setup.
Yeah.
Really.
It's definitely nice. I really can't complain.
No, you should not, because you really have the time to also do these creative things.
Exactly. And
that really matter
my,
to you.
Creative outlet for me.
Yeah. No, it's perfect. It's really perfect. So you have kind of cracked a code in a sense of something that's like brings you stability, but gives you flexibility.
Exactly.
And that is huge.
That's what I think people need to have, like a true work-life balance.
Yeah, I agree. And it's easier said than done for sure. But once you get there, I mean, I feel like that's pretty ultimate scenario.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I would really just think if anyone is thinking about entrepreneurship and want to do something, like, do it. Just be prepared that it's gonna be like tough.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Until things like get rolling.
For sure.
But again, I kind of come back to the question, like, who am I doing it for?
Yeah.
Like, who am I doing it for, and what's the option? What's the alternative right now? To quit after I already poured someone? No, that's not no.
Yeah.
Or to work on someone else's dream? No.
Yeah.
So I think kind of coming back to that.
Well, I wanted to ask you as well, kind of going back onto how you get to work with so many amazing people. I wanted to ask you have a specific, like, memory of, I don't know, maybe like a fun moment with a celebrity, whether you worked with them or whether you met them through mutual friends, or do you have, I always know you work with all these amazing people. I want to know if you had like a specific memory.
I do. Well, I mean, probably many, if I really start like digging around. One that just comes to mind, or I guess two that are fun, but one, okay, I'll share them both briefly. One time we were in China, and and we were in Beijing on a tour. We were doing like a ABBA in concert. So it wasn't ABBA, but it was like other singers that were doing different like ABBA productions. Like,
okay.
Yeah. And but the two male singer, or the two guys in the band ABBA, they were with us there. And so one day, one of the guys, Björn, people never know the difference between them anyway, but one of the guys, him and I and my mom hop into a taxi, and we're going someplace, and very, very bad English. The driver asks like, "Oh, where are you from?" Like, and then we say Sweden. Oh, Sweden. Oh, okay. Oh. And then on the radio, so wild, they started playing Dancing Queen.
Oh, wow.
So crazy. And this guy freaks out. He's like, "Oh my God, you know this song, And he didn't recognize, of course, that one of the person that wrote the song is in his cab. He wouldn't know. So we're all just like, yeah, we know the song. And Björn is so humble, and he's also really funny. He's a funny guy. So he was like, yeah, well, I happen to actually know the lyrics, because he wrote it.
Right, of course.
But there we are in the middle of like busy Beijing, listening to Dancing Queen, the three of us. And the taxi driver is so stoked that it's like a song from Sweden when we're in his car. Imagine if he fucking knew who was in the car.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
I know. That's wild. Many stories.
Well, I want to hear the story about, you were telling me about a person you were playing pool with. This is a really cool story.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was at a party, one of those parties in LA, in the hills. And it was I can't remember who, like Muse, are they 2 or 3 people in that.
You're asking the wrong person.
Yeah. I should ask you about Taylor Swift. I know. Well, I don't know, but one of the guys. Anyway, the Muse band. Someone was throwing a big party. It was like a big party. We were there. Bunch of people were there. I don't always recognize everyone because I have a really weird fucking thing that we can talk about later. But one thing led to the next, to the next, to the next. And when there, I was playing pool with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, wow.
And which was, I also barely recognized him. I don't know what movie, because he had just shot a movie. He had like the most insane beard, or he had maybe been not shooting a movie and just like not shaving. I don't know which one.
Is he a good pool player?
Yeah, he's good. But also compared to me, everyone is good. So it was almost like he was being just nice and like, let me, because I really am. I kind of miss the white ball.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell. I don't even know if I could play pool.
Yeah, I feel, I don't know how I do it, how you miss the first ball, but, the white thing that's supposed to hit the other balls.
Right.
Yeah.
I think they call that a cue. The pool cue, right? Or is that...
The cue is the...
Oh, that's the stick.
We would obviously
we would be
fuck
so
anyone's
good.
Team up.
I know. Watch me actually slay at
oh my
billiards. And
God, we almost have to go to a bar and try it. No,
Don't
it's
tempt me
embarrassing.
with a good time.
I mean, not me either, to be fair. But he was so nice. I mean, he's really nice, and it was a fun party. Like, but yeah, we were just hanging out, playing pool. He was chill. I was always like embarrassed because I was so bad, but he was supportive.
Yeah,
he was being nice.
Well, you were saying that you didn't recognize him. I wrote this down so I don't mispronounce or butcher this. I'm still going to butcher it. You have a condition called I'm gonna butcher it.
Yeah, you butchered it. Yeah, hard.
I tried.
I love you. Prosopagnosia. Prosopagnosia. It's a thing. It's a type of face blindness, and people like legit. This is a thing. So it's like. Okay, so dyslexia, how that is for people with like letters and words, like imagine that, but for faces. Mm-hmm. Not that it's like, oh, I thought the eye was here and the nose was here. Like,
yeah, you just don't recognize people.
I don't recognize people, and the moment I stop looking at someone, it turns into kind of a mush that is like unrecognizable. Like I just don't see the face. Like how do you have good face memory?
I think so.
Okay, so you look at someone and then you can look away or close your eyes and you kind of have the picture still of what this person. Yeah, so mine is gone.
Really?
Yeah.
So how do you recognize me?
How do I know it's you? I don't know.
I picked you up from LAX. I mean, you could have gotten in anyone's car.
Legit. No, that's true. But it's also, after a while you spend a certain amount of time with people, you of course know their faces. But people that have really bad prosopagnosia, they like don't recognize their partner or their family members. Like they could have like, oh, darling, I always wear a red tie with, the green dots on. So it's like really bad for some people. I don't have it like that at all.
Yeah.
But I have it enough to where I can see someone and talk to someone, like hang out 3, 4, 5 times.
Yeah.
And still not know them the next time. So it is like pretty bad. But the worst thing is that people think before you have time to explain, it can look kind of like you're just trying to be like important.
Yeah.
Or
like you're an asshole just acting like you don't know this person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that is like the furthest thing from what I think I am, what I hope I am.
God, imagine they put you up in a police lineup to try to identify a person. They'd be fucked.
Oh God, everyone. Yeah. Oh God.
Okay. Well, another thing I want to talk about. So most people know you are bisexual. Mm-hmm. Do you think that, like, is there a gender that you are more interested in versus the other? Like, or would you say it's like 50-50 or?
Yeah, I would not say. Right. I don't think it's 50-50. I think I may be more of a 60-40, 70-30, more men.
Yeah.
But the women that I do find attractive, I usually like die for. Like my ex-wife, when I met her, I was like, God. And even my girlfriend that I had before her, I was also God. So it's a little bit like it's maybe more rare.
Yeah.
I like kind of more like masculine appearances in women.
Yeah.
Or they can be femme but like have a really strong masculine energy. Then I'm also like I think that's pretty hot too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely much more often men than women. I also am a sucker for like really fit bodies and muscles and shit.
How was that growing up? Like, when did you realize growing up that you were not only into men?
Really early, because I kind of fell in love with my neighbor.
How old were you?
Like 13 or something.
Really?
Dumb, yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, no, so I knew.
But you
that.
did you ever explore that side of you?
I did.
As a teenager?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
But I mean, in Europe, though, I mean, that's like much more acceptable, I think, than in America at that time. Probably.
And I don't even know that I knew exactly what. I just knew that I liked it, and then I didn't think too hard about it.
Yeah.
When I really had to face that was when I like started kind of like dating, because I think it's one thing. And I'm sure like as a gay man, like you see this a lot too. I think it's very different having like a casual like hookup with someone or like actually dating, holding hands, daytime, outside, telling your friends, telling your family, like it's night and day.
For
like,
sure.
Yeah. So I think when the first time I really had to kind of not just face it, but also outwardly, like, I was probably in my early 20s or like mid 20s or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like mid 20s.
Wow.
So, and at that point I had already like, been with women for 10 years.
Yeah.
So yeah. When I have been on dates with people here, like in LA or here, and, I talk about my ex and I'm like, yeah, she's a woman. I'm bi, by the way. Most people are like, oh, all right, cool.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
But like no one. And then some people overcompensate by like, oh, super fine with me. I'm like, dude, I chill. Like, first of all, I don't care what you think.
Well, also, like, to be fair, a lot of men, whether they like are super accepting or not, they find that hot.
Yeah, I think so. But you know what I hate though is when they all of a sudden think that that's some sort of like ticket to like a threesome. I'm like,
right.
You're crazy.
Yeah.
You're on a date with you're crazy.
Yeah.
You have the wrong idea. And that tells me a lot about how actually not very developed they are around that subject.
Yeah.
If you think everything is a porno, you're off. Like something's off. This is like true emotions, love.
Yeah.
Yeah. I take that as kind of if someone ever suggests that kind of right off the bat, that is I'll call them out and also probably say, thank you. No, thank you.
What do you think the best and worst thing about dating in 2025 is?
Oh my God, I feel so old. Because it's such a long time ago since I was single. But I think the worst thing is that people, as with so many things in today's society, everything needs to be so fast. Like you want instant gratification. You want things to just like work out immediately, and if it doesn't, you're like done. I think that's why a lot of people choose to do a lot of surgeries instead of like BBLs instead of working out, like do squats, eat healthy, you know, like I think it's a lot of we want everything to be so quick. Dating world seems like that to me, and I'm not even saying that I am better by any means. I just think that that's a problem, that we don't even allow the time to, like, for me to see who you are as a person before I dismiss you over something, like you said something wrong or responded odd in a text, or because we're just human, so no one is perfect, and it takes some time, some molding before we so I think that's the worst part. Everything is too fast. We expect too much of too little interaction. The best is it feels really freaking unlimited in where you can connect with people. Like I have Tinder.
You're a Tinder queen.
But I have mine set on passport mode because I travel so much, and I can't really date in Sweden, by the way. I figured that out last year. Can't date in Sweden.
No. Why is that?
guys are boring.
Really? Boring in the sense that, because Swedish people are gorgeous.
And boring. Unless not the people that also leave Sweden, because they're like,
Well, you are far from boring. You're actually one of the least boring people I know, and you're from Sweden.
But I also, that's one of the reasons I haven't been super much in Sweden, you know. I've been living in another culture for like a decade.
Yeah.
More. I'm not closed off. Like, I'll try. That's been my experience. So for me, the passport function, I think, is amazing, because I spend a lot of time in London right now. It's kind of a new thing. I'm discovering a lot of interesting people in London that I'm like, oh, this might work for me.
Yeah.
So,
and that's close to Stockholm as well.
It's like 2 hours. It's easy. It's so easy. It's so quick. And so that really would work. And my life is kind of flexible. And if I meet, I kind of also date people that I know have some flexibility in their life.
Well, that's what I would love to do. A goal of mine is to live in Europe as well.
Oh God, you should, Devin. My God.
I know
you will, because when you set your mind to it, I know you're going to do it.
I tried. You know what? Ever since I was a little kid, I had this idea that I really wanted to live in London as like a teenager. And when I went to London when I was 18. I was there for like 5 days. Beautiful city, but it wasn't, I guess, what I expected, so to speak. I mean, you don't know what to expect. I never left the country as a kid, so it wasn't until I started traveling. But I really think that I love Europe so much. I've been now 3 or 4 times.
No, I know. Countries. You need to meet a European man.
Really think,
man or man, but either.
You know what? Because American men are garbage. They really are. The American men are the absolute worst. And so you and I have said this before, but
I know
the difference between an American man and a European man. European men are so passionate.
Yeah.
If you're texting a guy, right, and he's from, I don't know, fucking Dallas, versus if he's from Barcelona, right? You're texting a guy from America, he's like
Dallas and Barcelona.
They're so close off. But the man from Barcelona is like, good morning, my darling. I hope you slept so well.
I dreamt about the stars and they looked like your eyes, and your warm body reminds me of the hot sand on a beach. And American guys,
what's up? What are you doing?
WYD. Fuck WYD. One more WYD, I'll throw my phone into the Pacific.
That's what I'm saying. American men are garbage. European men are just so much more passionate and lively and cultured and fun, and just American men are just fucking just dull and bleak.
You know,
and uncultured and just
uncultured. I can kind of I think a little. You're right, a little bit, but I actually like a lot of American men. Like, I think it's I like the vibe, and they also love that I'm European. So I think there's like an interesting exchange that happens there. Yeah. And I've also met some in like this last year, some interesting, I think, American men that have done some pretty cool. Like, we've done some pretty cool things.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Gosh, the men you've been on dates with, they've taken you to some crazy.
It's been good. Yeah.
Fun places.
Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely.
And I can't wait to actually spend some time in your neck of the woods now, because I've only ever known you here.
Yeah.
And which is so nice to have you here. But I really want to experience Sweden and take a look at some new places in Europe I haven't been before.
Absolutely. No, for sure. It'll be so exciting to show you around.
I can't wait.
And also do, I think, Madrid or Lisbon.
Well, Madrid is where I actually plan on moving to.
So we can do a scouting trip.
I think that's a good idea.
I love that.
So what is, as we wind down here, what is next for you in your life? Career, personal, what's next for you?
This year, I'll be very focused on keep building mood board. We got some very interesting contracts on the table, and just like really excelling, keep focusing on that. I feel like I'm so much on the right path.
Yeah.
Personal, also, I have a son, a 4-year-old, with my ex-wife, and he's of course like my life, and I just want to keep providing, the best, most safe, loving space for him with me. And also, I'm like ready to meet someone again, I think. Because this year, like just getting, you know, my bearings after a divorce, like that takes some months. Like I haven't been wanting to meet someone seriously like that.
For sure.
You know, committed. But I'm really like a relationship type. Like I love these days that I've been staying with you here, like I love having that interaction with someone in the house, like someone you're cooking with someone, it's like cozy. You talk about the day, I love that.
Me too.
So yeah. So now that I feel like I'm, you know, getting really solid in myself after the breakup, I'm like, I'm going to be really intentional this year. That's kind of my word for this next year is intentional, career-wise, personal, dating. Yeah.
Well, I am so happy to call you one of my good friends and so excited to watch you grow, and just celebrated your birthday here.
Yeah.
And I am just so happy to have you in my life and to spend many, many more years and have many more fun, amazing memories with you.
Thank you. And, you know, it's so mutual. I love you so much. And thank you for just letting me be a part of your life.
Oh, a pleasure is all mine. I love you so much, babe. Thank you for being here.
I love you.
I will cheers you again with our empty glasses.
Because it's so good. So they're gone. I love you.
Mwah.
Mwah.